Yeah, answer that question for me. Everybody let me know what tools you're using, and also everybody let me know whether or not you actually take the time to 100% optimize your images and or video. 100%. Give me a percentage of images you optimize from 0 to 100. All right, great. A lot of different answers. Awesome. Give everybody an idea what we're doing, why we're here. Who the hell are you?
Who the hell am I? Man,
Okay.
I've been in the SEO space for quite a while. I'm an old dog, and I have had the opportunity to work with Pat on image SEO for probably going on 2 years now. And we started out with a plugin, and then just recently decided to develop the SAAS. Um, Myself and probably a lot of people on the call have had some experience optimizing images. And so we've spent a lot of time just looking at the types of data that the search engines read. And Pat and I've had, and with the help of all our beta testers, I believe we probably got the best image SEO duplicator product on the market right now.
Well, that's because we're biased. But to piggyback a little bit on that, just real quickly, like I said, Richard and I have been working on this program and process for a few years. We have if everybody stays to the end, I have a free another image product for you for WordPress that we're not going to show you today, but we've been working on it and we're going to launch it pretty soon, but we'll give it to you for free today. But the thing of it is that we've been working on this. How many guys know the song "I Was Country Before Country Was Cool"? Anybody know that song? How many of you know that song or have heard about it, or at least heard about the phrase, right? I was something before it was cool, right? Well, if we go back 2 or 3 years in the process of your learning, your development, and all the things that you guys are doing, that's when Richard and I started working on image optimization, okay? And back, if you think 3 years ago, we were doing image optimization when image optimization wasn't cool. Does everybody agree with me? Go back 3 or 4 years and, all of the sites that you would come across, JPEG 1, JPEG 2, JPEG 3, JPEG 4, right? June 16th by my records, Brian says. Okay. And that's exactly true because Brian bought the image duplicator in June of 2016. So, Brian, that you validated that what I'm saying is true, right? And it made a lot of difference, and it really, really does work. And it's one of the things that validates the content on the page. GP, he bought the same thing, Image Duplicator Pro, back in the day. And it's gone through versions and versions, and it works, it's broke, it works, it's broke. And that's just because we have a bunch of idiot developers. And so what Richard was saying is that we decided that we needed to go to a SaaS. And Brigitte was asking, SaaS is SaaS, software as a service, but it's based and built on the web, okay, not as a plugin. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay. So the really cool part about this is that we've been screwing with image duplicator, like, Brian and GP says, for 3 years. And in less than 3 months, we've found a developer that is just off the charts awesome. He's almost as awesome as Chris. Not quite, but almost. Shripad. And so we began on this process to build this brand new kind of a clone-ish type tool, but with some really new cool features that I think you guys are all going to love, right? And so, with that being said, Richard is, full disclosure, he's a partner in this, the image duplicator and the image program. So we just want to make sure that you understand that he does have a little bit of a biasness towards what he's about to say. But when it comes right down to testing, the man's just an absolute crazy man. Okay. And so we're going to show you some really cool things today from a testing perspective and from a preview of what you think you're doing and what you're actually doing, and to prove that what you think you're doing, you're not actually doing. Does everybody understand what I just said? And if you don't, just say yes anyway, okay? Because we're gonna go through and show you some stuff that's really cool. All right. So with that being said, Richard, let's kind of go through and we open up the SAAS program. Thank you, Jerry and Brian and James and Jack and Brian and Mario, Brigitte, Mark, all you guys. Awesome to have you here. If nothing else, my goal is that you're going to learn something today that you didn't know right now. By the time we get done, you're going to know something, and you're going to have access to some free stuff that Richard's going to show you as to how to understand what you're actually doing with your images. You guys okay with that? You cool with that? Go. Good information, good knowledge. You got to walk away learning something. You know me. I want you to learn something. Okay. All right. I'm going to shut up because I just wasted 5 minutes of your precious time. So go ahead, Richard.
So I think it's probably maybe a good idea to maybe just share with everyone why we decided to go with a SaaS versus leading with a WordPress plugin. We just found that there are so many different types of WordPress installs. People, different memory, different PHP versions, and all of that stuff plays into the performance. And so by kind of retooling this as a software as a service, all of the potential support issues, WordPress hosting, that stuff all goes away. So and we can dial up the performance on this platform as we grow. So this is the dashboard, nothing fancy. What you're seeing across the top screen, a couple of campaigns that I've got saved, the green tab, some templates I've got saved, and then each account comes with, to start with, 200 megs of storage space. So you can actually store some of your images and keep them, right in the same workspace without jumping out to Dropbox or, other folders or files. So so I'm going to jump right in. I'll just start from the top.
While you do that, let me ask everybody a question. Okay. And Richard, you know that I'll continue to do this, but
yeah,
everybody tell me, why do you not optimize every single image on your site? What is the main reason you and everybody else doesn't do it? Too much work, tedious, pain in the ass. I'm too lazy. I love that one. Because you're stupid. Gaynor, you calling me stupid? Oh, okay. I do, but it's a lot of work, not enough time. Okay, we all get the idea that, we know that we should eat healthy, but we eat 7 pizzas a day. We know that we should not smoke, but we smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a day. We know that we have to optimize everything on our site, but we also know that there's other things in our life that take precedent, and we just don't do it. Now, I know that doesn't sound right for every single one of you, but the most of you agree with me that we know we should do it, but we just don't, right? Give me a 1 if you agree, or 2 if, I do have a beer. I have 5 beers in front of me. By the time I get done, we're going to have some fun. Okay, cool. I'll let you go, Richard. Thank you, guys. Okay. Appreciate it.
So we'll jump right in. I'll just go from top to bottom. If anybody, just drop your questions for Pat to kind of read through. And so what I'm going to do is we're just going to start right here at step 1. And so you've got a couple of different options. You can upload an image from your computer. You can pull an image in from a URL, or you can upload an image that you create and store in the gallery. So I'm just going to grab one from a folder.
We're going to do this as really a live work through of what you would do. So this is kind of training. We're going to go through some ways of validating what we're doing, but you're going to be able to take these and use them, for yourself without having the tool.
Right. And okay, so I'm going to hit next. I'm going to jump over to step 2. Right now we've got this. Let's see if okay. So the current max is 50, but that is going to change. It'll be based on image size. So I'm just going to do 7 images, and then so we've got some other options. So we can generate 7 copies, 7 spun copies based off of the original image. We can randomize the image size, so it will randomly remove a couple of pixels from the width and height of the image, and then we've got the opportunity to create banners.
Okay, now and part of the banner. Look at the what we've done with banners so far, guys. We've brought in as many banner sizes as we can. We've brought in as many social sizes as we can, but in all reality, okay, DOS, the 50 image limit was created by the developer. We're going to change that, but the reason was some people were trying to upload 20 megabyte images, right, and at 100 a time, and it just won't work. Okay, so we had to put some sort of gun or generator on it because of that, and that's why we have now switched to a database or a storage of 200 megabyte instead of the number of images. He just hasn't changed that yet. But what I really want to say is that because you guys are looking at truly, an unfinished but finished beta form. So these images or these social sites in terms of their sizes, all you guys have to do is give us that, okay? Give us that and we will begin to add all of this. So don't get all bent out of shape and ask me, can we add Pinterest? Can we add, Instagram, whatever? Yes, we can add anything that we want. We just need feedback as to what it is that we want. Does that make good? Is that okay with everybody? You good with that? Okay, sorry, go ahead, Richard.
That's okay. And so then one of the other options, so I'm just, for this test, I'm just going to randomize the images.
What does that mean?
And that, let's say my base or my starting image is 300 by 300 pixels.
Okay.
So it will randomly remove a couple of pixels off of the width and the height, so that as the images are generated, they all have a unique size.
Okay, and why is that important? Anybody want to tell me why having 50 images all with different sizes might be important? Anybody have an idea? Uniqueness, fool Google, because they're not necessarily a duplicate. Correct. So we're giving you the opportunity to do that automatically instead of going and trying to resize them yourself. So hopefully that makes some sense. All right, go ahead, Richard.
Yeah. And then then we can apply some image compression.
What does compression do?
So basically, image compression, for anyone not familiar with it, it's just it's basically an algorithm that compresses or shrinks your file size. So the compression numbers are actually backwards. So if you compress an image, say at 90%, basically you're compressing it by 10%. If you go down to 80, you're actually compressing it at 20%. So the lower the number, the heavier the compression.
And the benefit for people wanting to do that based on, the new algorithms of ranking and sharing your sites, especially on mobile, would be because of the need for what? Finish the sentence. Need for speed, right? So you're reducing the size of the image so that it will load faster, right? And speed is something that's very critical to the algorithm, and especially for mobile. Awesome answer. You guys got it. Everybody knows better than me, so they all got it. All right, cool. Keep going, Richard.
All right. So step 3, I'm going to select a template just so I don't have to key everything in manually. And so this is a cool feature. You can you can create, as you go through this process, you can create templates that you can reuse, edit, download, re-upload, and even use them in other tools because all of your spin tags and everything will be intact. And so I'll just kind of go through. So we've got image title, which is currently, supports spin tags. Image author allows spin tags. Right now, the geo coordinates are not spinnable, but probably on version 2, all of the geo coordinates will be spinnable.
Either that or we're going to do a CSV upload for your coordinates to be able to pop them in. I have a question though, Richard.
Okay.
And this is for everybody out there as well. If you're doing images and they're for your site, they're for your business, or you're doing images for your customer and your client, okay, and you're filling the metadata out, can anybody tell me why you think image author would be important, and who, quote unquote, who should be the author of the image? Let me see some answers to that. Copyright owner, subject of the website, branding, okay, author, the business, the individual, business owner, okay.
And just to note also, I mean, you can, it doesn't necessarily have to be a keyword. It could be, you can spin URLs in here as well.
Correct. So what I like to do is kind of like take dual ownership, okay? The author of the image, if their images are coming from the business, would be ABC Plumbing, okay? So you could put a little bit of NAP information in there. And then what you can also do, and you can see it's spinnable, so you can use that from a keyword perspective like Richard's talking about. But then I like to add / Mario Cariva, Gaynor G, Brian Wiggins, Doss Hampshire, Carol Holzman. Okay, I like to co-brand that, because by co-branding that with you and your business URL at the end of that, can anybody see coordinate is a typo? Thanks, Gaynor. Like I said, this is beta, baby. But that's awesome. Thank you for pointing that out. But you guys see that image author can be of benefit from a entity environment, relationship environment. You guys see that? Have you ever thought about that before? Yes or no? Have you ever done that before? Okay, 80% knows. So right off the bat, you guys have learned something, okay, to help you out when you're doing your images, whether you're doing it stuff in the NAP. Hendrik, you take a nap all the time, man. But yes, you can stuff in the NAP, all kinds of stuff in there. So I'm going to stretch this out a little bit because I'm really wanting this to be teaching, and I want people to think about what you can do, no matter what tools you're using, or any tool, if you're not using any at all. This is important stuff for you to understand. And what's going to be interesting is to see when Richard goes through this, what you're actually doing where does it show up and how? So I'm sorry, go ahead. Keep going, Richard.
Yeah, no, we'll get there. And maybe another question, yes or no, how many people are not or have never done any image optimization before?
Well, yeah, a lot of people answered they don't. Some people just don't do it because it's a pain in the ass.
Okay.
Custom
So I'll just keep going through image copyright status. We typically set it to public domain unless it's actual images that you own. So there might be people on the call here that have a photography interest or originate images. So you could mark it as a copyrighted work. So we've got three options there. Image copyright info URL. So if your client or if a project that you're working on, if you have a page for copyright info, you can drop that link in here. Same thing with, I'm just going to take this.
So all right, here's another question. Why do you want to choose, what are the options for copyright status? Again, what's the drop down?
So unknown,
okay,
public domain, and copyrighted work.
Okay. So here's a question. How many of you would choose public domain? And if so, why? Susan, why would you do public domain? Yes, Facebook strips everything out. Okay, so here's the point. When you guys go out and look for images, let's just say, for example, you go to Google or Pixabay or whatever, and especially if you're finding an image that you've stuffed, don't you want everybody in the world to share it, right? You want them to share it, right? And so that's why you want to leave it as public domain, unless it's proprietary to the business. And I know all the questions and the answers for that, but for the most part, you don't want to copyright your images. Unless, I just said, they're proprietary property of a photographer, and that's you. But otherwise, you just want to take images and stuff the shit out of them and make them public domain and hope like hell somebody shares them. Correct? Gotcha. Okay. Everybody seems to get that point.
I'll give you a specific use, and sometimes I will grab Creative Commons images from Wikipedia. So I might be looking for some copy for a specific topic. It might have images that are included that are Creative Commons. So I'll typically link out to the exact image on Wikipedia in image credit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get down to image keywords, which is spinnable. So for this test, I've got three instances. So each instance has to be unique. And I can kind of show that a little bit more later if we have to.
Here's a good question. I don't know the answer, and Alex is asking it. Are all Wikipedia images in the public domain?
No. Some of them, some Wikipedia images will tell you that there may be a copyright on the image, but if it is a Creative Commons image, it'll tell you on the image somewhere around the just around the image properties. It'll actually tell you that it's Creative Commons.
Right.
And Creative Commons just means it's you can recycle, you can use the image without worrying about getting hit with some type of copyright claim.
Now, always check attribution requirements, according, what Brian is saying. So
Yeah.
that's true.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, cool. All right,
All
you
right.
guys,
So we'll go on
let me
step
just ask
4.
you, do you guys mind if we're taking the time to explain each of these to you, or do you want us to just whip through these and show you what we're doing? I think it's important that you understand each of these options. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm actually I'm gonna do something here just to show everyone kind of how flexible this is. So you can actually, if you forget something or you want to make a change, you can go back to any of your previous steps, and you're not going to lose any of your information that you've set up for a run.
Yeah, that took us a while, but we got it done. Yeah.
And so, all right, so we've got image description. Let me, I'm just going to throw something in there that I did on Spin Rewriter. So image source. One of the things that I like about image source is again, if you are the creator or you're doing some work for a client that actually owns the images, you can add that data or that information to the image source field.
Is the job name, there's another opportunity to do a keyword stuff of some sort?
Yep. Yes.
It's not spinnable at this moment, but it's still, you can use it for keyword stuffing.
Yes. Yep. Image urgency. Typically, we just leave that on high. Also, we've got tooltips, right? So if you've got a question about maybe a particular field, you'll see each field has a tooltip with it as well. Image category. This will probably be spinnable on the next update.
Alex has a question. You might know this. How many of all the fields are able to accept clickable URLs? I don't know that we actually check that and have an answer for that, but I thought I'd ask you.
Well, they're typically, they're not going to be clickable. They're going to be readable.
Readable.
Now, like for example, the image copyright info URL, that will be clickable. It all depends, for example, image credit, it could, but the thing that will show everybody a little bit later is, it's some of what appears clickable will depend on the image site that you're loading your images to.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
All right, move on.
Okay. Date, image city. Are we going to make this spinnable, Pat?
Yep.
Okay. Again, just NAP data, geolocation data, city, state, country.
Yeah, we're going to work with Shripad to do that along with the geotag. So that's on the V2 list. V2, by the way, means what? Version 2. Soon. GPS soon. Soon's a
And let
relative
me
term.
see. I'm just going to grab something from here.
All right, quick question. Does everybody know where Richard is right now? Give me a 2 if you don't have a clue, 1 if you know. Where's he at? 2. Okay. Oh, no clue. Really? 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 Wow. Okay, Richard, where are you and why are you there?
I'm in Dallas.
Yeah. What tool did you just go to? Keyword, translation.
Factory.
Okay.
So this is just another tool that that I use that
Patrick and Gary
Pat.
made.
Yep.
That's free.
And so I'm just going to blow this out. I'm going to clean this out here. So if you want to say create some spin tags, put your keywords or topic data per line. You can cut it, paste it, and then you hit make spin tags, and it gives you perfectly formatted spin tags that you just copy and paste.
Yep.
And yeah, Keyword Translation Factory has a whole bunch of tools for cleaning up a keyword list, adding data to a keyword list. I use this tool almost always in conjunction to what I'm doing with image optimization.
And there is a free version for everybody to use. And it's also great for titles and keywords and relevancy for your topic. So anyway, it's free.
Right.
I just put it in the chat box, guys. Go ahead.
So image supplemental categories. You could stuff the snot out of this, but really the search engines and the standard for this particular field is typically limited to 3 supplemental categories. So if your category was dogs, right, you could add or spin up to 3. So I would do something like this, right? So you could spin up to 3 different supplemental categories that will actually get read. Image headline is spinnable. Image instructions. And so what I've done, because we want to show you what the data looks like, I just took kind of a random paragraph that is about 1,000 characters. And so I've just pasted that through all of these areas here that are spinnable.
Okay, what's next?
And so last step. So I want to save this as a template, and I'm just going to call this webinar 1. And then I'm going to download it as a zip folder. Just going to give it the same name. And because I want to load some of these images up to some social sites or some image sites, I'm going to create a campaign, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just for my workflow, I probably keep all of these the same all the way through. And so then I'm going to hit finish.
Okay, so what time is it? What time is it? Hang on, I gotta know what time it is. It's 3:34. We started 5 minutes late, so it's taken us 30 minutes to explain the entire process. 30 minutes, okay? So with that being said, how many of you still think image optimizations is a PIMA? PIMA stands for pain in my tushy. 30 minutes is all this took, okay? Now, obviously, you need to have a little bit of your data up front, but, it's done, it's ready to go, and now you can go on to the next thing, and you can save it. And everybody's familiar with load and save within all the RFR tools, or Ranking Factory tools. So we do the same thing here. 25 minutes. I'm sorry, Henrik. I have an extra 5 minutes to chat. Henrik says, every time I do a webinar with Pat, it takes twice as long because he talks twice as much as I do. But it's okay. I want everybody to learn. Okay. So go ahead, Richard.
So I've downloaded my zip file. I've opened it up, and so you can see I've got two duplicates here. I've got Haverty Grace Homes for Sale, and then I've got a -1. That's only because I didn't have enough instances in my spin tags. So let's say you want to spin 35 images. You probably want to have at least 30. So you want to have a couple extra instances above the number of actual images that you want to spin if you want them all to be unique. If not, it'll just do a -1, -2 on any duplicate names. And so kind of the way the software works, this first image here is the original source file. And so 2000 by 1333, and I wanted to randomize the image sizes. So I'm just going to start up here, and you can see this is 2000. So this added 3 pixels to the width and the height. But you can see, just kind of go down through them. They're all different. So I'm not sure if everybody can see that, depending on the monitor that you're on.
It's a little small. Make it bigger if you can. I don't know if you can. It is a little difficult. Okay, Mario says it's good, so we're good.
Okay. So anyway, so I've got my 7 unique images, and
that's a beautiful house, Richard. Where'd you see that one?
Yeah, some dude named Pat is trying to sell his house right now in Haverty Grace. So if anybody wants to move to Maryland, great house for sale.
Okay.
So Pat will take offers at the end of the webinar.
Piano is free.
And so now what we want to do, and I'll just take a minute, Pat, to just talk about the data. There are different types of data. There are different versions, and so when we started working on this, we had to come up with kind of a common tool set to work with programmers, because originally we were all working with tools that read different versions of data. So we spent a lot of time going back and forth saying, stuff was broke. But there are different versions of data. And so sometimes just because you don't see data doesn't mean that it's not necessarily in the image. And so I'm just going to go to this site right here, Metapix. So you might want to take note of that. It's metapix.com. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag one of these images so we can take a look at what's there. So copyright, public domain, user comment. Right, you can see all the creator, public domain, copyright notice, EXIF data. So we've got 2 different types of data that we're going to show here. It's EXIF and XMP. And so you can see, you can actually, we've done some tests where we've had 9,000 words, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
So so a lot of these fields, you can stuff large paragraphs of spun text, and it will hold all of the text. But the main thing is to show you, right, all the data is there.
But in many times, okay, how many of you have put data in an image and gone and looked at the data that you put in, and you're looking through like an EXIF viewer, and you're wondering, where did my data go? Anybody had that happen? Seriously, anybody? Sam, yes. Yes, yes, all the time. Yes. Okay. The really cool part of it is there's a number of different ways Google reads the data, and EXIF data is just one. So at the end of this, Richard, you're gonna have to give me a link to these tools so that we can give everybody, the sites that you're using, because we want to know that the work that we're doing is paying off, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Mario, if you've never noticed, it's only because you see the data there and you probably said, okay, it's there, but metapix.com, right?
Yeah, is one. And so Metapix is we're reading the basic EXIF data and XMP data. And so there's one other type of metadata standard that we're writing to the image, and that's IPTC. And so where we go to check IPTC data is we go to the actual standard site, which is iptc.org. And so I'll just take a minute to, there are two different versions of IPTC, but the version that Google reads is what's called IIM. And so I'll show you that in just a second. You can see it right here. We just go ahead and pull this up. And so the way that Google reads image data, it reads EXIF data fields, and then it goes to IPTC, the IIM version, which is the most current. I think it was ratified in 2014. And so you can see as we go down through here, IIM, and that just, and all that's confirming for you is that the data is in a format that Google can read. And so description writer, you can see all of the IIM fields, in the IPTC standard are there. And so we'll post the full URLs, but it's iptc.org is the actual standard site. And then as we go down, it's showing us XMP as well. And so you can see all the data is there. And then the EXIF fields as well.
But see, look at that's what really kind of blew us away, Richard, when we first started to do this, right?
Yeah.
Is that we're doing all that image optimization, and we're thinking, holy shit, we did a lot of this work, and we go and do an EXIF viewer, and when you go down to the EXIF fields, that's all that's there.
Yeah,
that's all that is being shown. So I mean, we're freaking out, like, where's all the data going that we're putting into our images? Everybody talks about image optimization. Do this, do these fields, do that, do these fields. What they never tell you is that there are different ways that the data is going to be seen by Google. And these are the tools that you guys can use no matter what you're doing, who you're using, what process you're using, is to make sure that you're able to get that data into that image and it's going to be seen by Google. And if that is the case, you have optimized the back end of that image 97% more than anybody else on earth. Would you guys agree with me on that? If you take, Bryant says, if you take an image and open it in Notepad++, you can see all the data. Yeah, you can see all the data, but the point is, whether you can see the data in Notepad++, most people when they look at EXIF, think the data is not there. Even though that we know that you can see it, they think it's not there, right?
Yeah. So, for example, whether you're on a Windows machine or a Mac, and you right-click on an image to get the info,
Right.
right? It'll show you some of the data, but it's not necessarily going to show you all of the data. And so, the way that you can think about these different metadata types, they're just layers. Um, they're different layers within an image, and they all reside together on their individual or unique layers. And so even though you might not be able to see the data, when you right click image properties, say on your Windows machine or a Mac, that's why you need to use one of these tools that is designed specifically to read the different metadata formats.
Okay. I got a bunch of questions here, but go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to jump back over, and so some of this other stuff can go kind of quick. Templates. So these are just templates. As I've gone through Duplicator, you get to step 6, save as a template, and so we've just got a template viewer. What we're going to add probably in the next update, you'll actually be able to download each one of these individually if you want. But up here in the top right, you can add, so you can create a template before you actually start your project. So you can get all your data together, create the template, and then do your run. You can export a template, edit it, and then import the template back in. So just very, very flexible. For the way that for the way that you might want to use it with your workflow. And the thing that I like about having the ability to export the template, all of the EXIF data, all of the Spintax data that you export, you can use it in other projects if you've got other tools that you use that takes Spintax. And so I'll click into this one just so you can see, right? So you basically go through, the different fields. You can submit, right, and then update it. And then so this is kind of a neat.
Wait a minute. Don't do that yet. Don't do that. Let's answer some questions, okay?
Okay.
My favorite Pima Alex is asking, when will this be available for YouTube meta stuffing? Dude, we haven't even finished this one yet. But I love your enthusiasm and your excitement. So we are working on the YouTube system that's going to do what we're doing for images, we're going to do for YouTube, okay? And that is something that will actually be part of this. It's not going to be separate except for later on for people, but for everybody here, that is part of the what's coming. And you guys all know that when I say when you're into this thing and we add things, how much does it cost every time that we add something to one of our products? How much do we charge you? Anybody have an idea? How much? Zero, goose eggs, nada. You exactly right, man. Nothing. So everything that we're going to do and everything that you guys have ideas for that we add to this, it's just all going to be added to the part of what we're doing, okay? But one of the other things that I wanted to bring up here is, let's see, hang on one second. There's a bunch of questions. YouTube stuffing, yes. Soon for that. Brian says, back to putting up image PBNs. Brian, we have a thing that Richard and I were talking about today. So I'm gonna throw this idea out at you. What if we all put up image sites? And I know they're not all going to be high PADA, but what if we all put up image sites and we begin to start to share our images on all of our sites like SynWire or syndication? Do you think that would be helpful? And if so, would you want to participate in it if we do it? I don't know the answers to that because I'm reading the questions. Mario, this will be great for YouTube thumbnails. Exactly, Mario. Perfect idea. 97 times more than what I've automated already. Perfect. Same for video and MP3s. Well, you know, the interesting thing is there's metadata in MP3, and there's also, you guys know this now, there's metadata fields for PDFs. Give me a 1 if you know that, 2 if you don't. If you don't know that, then you haven't listened to the Mega Stacker, because that is where that information came from, right? Valerie, I'm buying, I gotta leave, just, oh, here's my credit card. Okay, fine, thanks. We just doubled the price, Valerie. YouTube and M3, yes, Paul, exactly. Any comparison to Mass Optimizer Pro? Eric, that's probably a really great question. I have no clue. I don't look at other people's products. I don't care what other people do. I only care what we do, and I only care about what you guys want us to build into our products. Lloyd's an awesome guy. He builds good stuff. We promoted the Q&A. I know he's got a new thing coming out. I'll probably promote it next week for him. You know, so it's not a matter of comparing one to the other. It's just a matter of looking at what's available and what fits you specifically. And, you know, I would never say anything, you know, negative about, you know, Lloyd or Paul or his programs. If you like them, buy them. If you like this, buy them. You know, whatever floats your boat, man. I really just can't go any more detail than that. Than
you know, and I'll say something that I've been I hit Pat with. You know, the thing that you know, everybody that's been involved with the development of some tool that's part of the you know, the Ranking Factory family. I keep telling Pat, you know, he is developing an ecosystem, and so for me and my workflow, I like having tools that are all part of the same ecosystem, and just you know, I know where you know, everybody that's involved with some of the different tools. The goal is to, you know, to make them compatible with one another so that workflow is optimized, and that's kind of how I look at tools and how I invest in tools. Is they need to fit my workflow and my ecosystem. So that's another way that you can look at
it. And if your brains are working at all, you can think, what can I do with this in Ranking Factory? What can I do with this in Backlink Factory? What can I do with this in Traffic Factory? What can I do with this in Mega Stacker? Right? You know, they're all independent tools that do independent things, but every single thing that we do, everything that we do is visual, and images are the gateway to the mind. Okay? And that's where we all have fallen short of the glory of images. And that's all we're trying to do, is bring forth information, a process to make it simple, and utilizing them back and forth between each of the programs, like you know, like Richard was saying. Keith's got a great idea, and one of the things that we're working on right now, and it's like, if you take a picture with your smartphone or high-end camera, the picture on the phone is geotagged and carries all of the phone data, correct? So one of the things we're working on is building a phone database where you be able to just take that database, the spindle database, and put it into the image for that particular purpose. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Camera data falls under its EXIF data, and so you can see right here, we could have faked camera data, but we decided that that wasn't a good idea. So eventually we will add or give people the ability to import camera EXIF data.
Okay, so this is really interesting, guys. And Keith, thanks Keith for popping in on here. Next, he's learned in the past that if you take a picture on your phone and upload to your computer or some other device, that image metadata gets modified so Google knows it is not an original image. Okay? So whether that becomes critical or not critical, the simple fact is that if you take the image and your phone data is in there and we add other data to it, okay, and I'm not going to dispute what Google thinks of it, but what happens is the data we add to the image, correct me if I'm wrong, Richard, when we've proven this, it does interfere or override the data that is in that image from your phone. So you get all
Correct.
the phone data and you get all the modified data. Whether Google sees that, disregards it or whatever, we'd probably have to do a bunch of tests, but the simple fact of the matter is that data is there and that phone image is there, okay? And for me, that's important. We can test it all day long and come to the conclusion it works or it doesn't work, but, we are still looking at that and knowing that that is true, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Martin can transfer, if you have Brinks, Martin, in your country, you just have a Brinks truck and send a boatload of money to us. That's cool. Image site data type list. I don't know what iptsite.org. Okay, awesome. All right, cool. You guys ready for some more interesting stuff? Or we bored you to death? Should we leave? Should we keep going? Talk about hiding plain sight. Hiding in plain sight. I think basically, GP, what you're talking about is, hiding the metadata, in plain sight or on the face of the image in plain sight, based on a lot of what Alan's been talking about, and I don't really want to get into that at the moment. It's another topic for another day. Can I use this tool for mass editing, 200 images without any metadata? Martin, yes. We don't have the bulk upload in there yet, but it will be very, very shortly where you will be able to give us a file of X numbers of images based on size limitations, and you'll be able to upload them, and then it will metadate all images one by one by one by one by one until you're done with them. So that is that's in V2 and coming, right, Richard?
Yeah. We have already tested. That was part of the functionality in the original WordPress plugin.
Okay, this is probably something we're going to have to add, but if you're using your own images, Eric, it won't make any difference. But I know we have talked about making sure that when we get an image or use an image that we completely sterilize that image from EXIF data before we add any of our own, and that's another V2 option that we are working on. It does not do it at the moment. Okay?
Yeah. We've actually had some at-length conversations about doing image sterilization.
Right. Samuel says, well, what little I've created includes only maybe about 50 different fields. Google has in many cases put them on the first page. With every keyword phrase I build, sometimes 5 images at a clip. Yeah. Once again, if you do more than everybody else, you're going to get more nuts. It's all that, you got 20 squirrels in a pack. The one that runs the fastest and gobbles the most, nuts is going to have more than anybody else. That's exactly what you have to do. Okay. Upload a zip file would even be faster. Eric, yeah, we'll work on a lot of different situations for that, right? All right, cool. Any other questions before we move on to showing you something else that's really cool? I have to leave. All right, just send me some money, John. Okay, cool. Let's go on to Designer.
Okay. What's going on here? Let me refresh my screen. I might have been inactive. Okay. I guess I've been fired, Pat.
Why? Relog in. You're too long. You got to just probably relog in. That's what I had to do the other day.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Not sure what's going on. I could clear my cache, but
Go into do social. Let me go check something.
okay. All right. So I'm going to jump down to, so basically, what I use Image Designer for is you can create a canvas, whatever size you want. I typically use it to create my initial YouTube thumbnails. And then when I save them, they go into the gallery. And but I'm going to jump down here to social. So this is something we're going to be updating, in an ongoing basis. And so right now, I don't know that I've got a campaign. Yeah, let me see. Okay, so this was, so I saved it as a campaign, and so I've got I've got all the images, and so let me just jump back out, and next, and so I'm just going to select a couple of images. Next, and so right now the three image sites that we can connect to: Flickr, Image Shack, and Imgur. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna just click on Image Shack, hit finish.
Hmm.
And then what it's going to do, it's going to give me a CSV file and, just confirmation text of, that each image was uploaded. Let me see if I'm still. And so here's my Image Shack account. And there's the three images that I just uploaded. So this, again, right now, Flickr just changed their API last week. So programmers are working on updating Flickr. But Flickr is something that I would upload a lot of images to, because Flickr does not remove any EXIF data or metadata at all. So anything that's in your image will stay there on Flickr. Image Shack, I was just checking today. Image Shack only uses EXIF data. So there's 3 or 4 EXIF data fields. One is description, and so you might want to if you're going to push images out to Image Shack, you might want to tweak your syntax a little bit, so that if you've got a URL or something that you want to include, it's not beyond 1,000 characters. And Imgur is probably going to go away because it strips out metadata. But we've talked about adding some stuff, building some image PBNs, WordPress sites, and we'll be adding some other image sites. So this will just be a growing, it'll be a growing list of social sites, and I'll just kind of jump over here. So accounts. So you'll have kind of like an account builder. You'll have tabs along here. I know one that we've talked about, for people that like to push images out to different WordPress sites. We'll have something, whether it's version 2 or version 3, to add a list of WordPress sites. So, and if anybody's got any image sites that they're using that they like to use, drop those in the comments section as well.
Okay, so here we have the concept of what? What do we have? What's the concept here? What have we been building for how long? Authority, stuffing, stacking. How about stacking? Right? Stacking. Right? So if you think about what we're talking about here, Brian is talking about entities as well. So I'm going to explain one quick thing here, and then I'm going to ask a couple people to pop on and give us some ideas of what they're thinking about, if you don't mind. But if you think about this, and let's get beyond whether these are the entities that work or not, but Mike's got the idea. We take all of our images that we've created and we send them over to Flickr. The software is going to load those onto your account, but it's going to draw back a CSV file with all of the URLs, okay, that you just created on Flickr. Who can tell me what you can do with all those URLs? Give me an idea. What can you do with 50, 60, 70, 100, 200 URLs? BLF, 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 sheets, BLF, right? So when you take all of those and you now create your backlinks, your sheets, your backlink factories. Then you take the link from that and now you add that into your description. And now you send and make all your images on Image Shack. You get all the links back from Image Shack. And you do exactly the same thing. And then add to Imgur, the same thing. Add to Google, Azure, Amazon, right? So with this process, when it's done, and we're going to ask everybody to give us ideas that you've been able to look and test to see that, well, if I upload my image to Photo Bucket, all of the data is still there, okay? Because I have the tools now where I can see that it's there. You know, PDF pages of images in Cloud Stacker, correct, right? You guys, you see the power of what we're going to be able to create here based on the tools that some of us have within the Ranking Factory suite of tools. This is powerful, guys. This is pure power, okay? And so we're going to be building this thing out, but we're going to rely on you all to help us, okay? This is going to be a separate thing that we're going to sell all together, but it's part of, as you can see on the left-hand side, it's part of this process. And underneath the bar where it says accounts, when you shorten that up, you're going to see another tab under social that's going to say YouTube. And that tab YouTube is going to be there, and then all the functionalities of all the things that we're doing with images are going to be in the YouTube optimizer. That's going to be a separate piece for sale, okay? But it's included in what we're building here today. So how many of you guys in here know Henrik? I'm not even sure Henrik is even still here. I'm going to go find out. Everybody know who? Valerie says she doesn't understand the offer. It's very simple, Valerie. You go to the web page, you click on the product buy button that you want, enter the code, and you will get super, super, super discount. Okay, and I gave you the code and I gave you the site to go to. If you need to call me afterwards, let me know. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I think Henrik had to leave.
He was going to take a nap.
I think so. Okay. How many of you guys have Traffic Factory? Bryant, are you there?
I are here.
Okay. What can you share about what we've talked about today and how this, and I don't even know the answer, so it's not like it's a canned question. I have no freaking clue. All right, you guys don't have to agree with that. I see all that. That's not very nice and very fun. What are some of your ideas about what you're seeing here and how it could be implemented within the Traffic Factory? Now, let me rephrase that. How do you see the ideas and the concept of image optimization, whether it's using this or using any other tool or doing it manually? What are the benefits of doing what we're talking about doing within just Traffic Factory as an idea and a concept, regardless of what tool you're, how you're doing it, just the idea? What's the benefit?
Well, let me count the ways.
Okay, start counting, baby.
Okay. First of all, let's start with the actual templates that we use to build Traffic Factory campaigns with. They have images in them, not content images, but theme images, like a header image, for example, a footer image. First thing I will do is I build, I grab a copy of a template for a given project, and everybody that's seen, the stuff that I've been demoing with our Words project, we got a nice image at the top, nice image at the bottom of the theme for the website. So the first thing I'll do is I'll be stuffing those two images that are going to be on every page that I build within a given campaign. And a campaign, in my mind, or the way that I'm viewing it, is, for example, the Words campaign that I use for all my demo stuff. I would optimize header and footer for Words. Okay, but generically for Words. The images that I use currently in my Traffic Factory campaigns on individual pages, like individual pictures of ugly warts, which a lot of you have seen. Obviously, those I've been optimizing with just a weak little program that doesn't do anything much different than what you can do yourself manually with right-clicking and typing in a bunch of stuff in the properties. So this gives me the ability to take all those images, whether they're individual images or whether I just take one and and duplicate it. And actually, that's with this tool, all I need is one image. I don't need to make 500 images like I do now in some cases. Or if I want to make 500, I can come in and make 500 copies of it with different names. So that process is going to be, the time spent there is going to be cut down to nothing. The other thing is that there's always little images that are laying around that are like just little little things. I mean, whatever it is, like a copyright image, stuff it. Pretty much any little image that you can get your hands on for Traffic Factory, you can stuff either keywords, which is what we do now primarily, is just stuff with keywords, but there's so much more you can do here with stuffing with URLs. I mean,
hey, can I add to something that you mentioned, Brian?
Yes, please.
It's interesting. So, whether you use a template, most of us probably use WordPress, but it doesn't matter. But, typically when you build a website, you create a header image. So you've got a single header image that you carry through the entire site. You might have a footer image, or just some images that relate to the theme that you carry through on every page. And so, like, I've got a client project where I'm going through the website, and I'm going to be optimizing every single image on the website, but I'm not going to use the same header image on every single page. I'm gonna have a spun version of the header image that relates to the topic and the content that's on that specific page. So that's just another way, another way to think about how you can do something unique, rather than kind of accepting the limitations of, say, a WordPress builder or, an HTML builder that just, grabs a header image and applies it to the entire website. You can have a unique header image for every page that relates to the content or the topic of that page.
Exactly. That's you can do similar things with the themes that we use in Traffic Factory as well, with some of the more advanced techniques. But like you say, anytime you're going to create a blog, you're going to create a look and feel that's going to include some images that are carried throughout the site, whether it's Traffic Factory, WordPress. You got similar situations.
Yeah.
Something crossed my mind as I was listening, and I believe that it had to do with the stacking of images and being able to use images from other high authority sites within Traffic Factory as well, because we have the ability to spin content. It would be an easy matter to spin the URLs of your images on Flickr, for example, within Traffic Factory, and use images from Flickr, from your own Flickr account, which just adds some additional authority, to the juice coming into and moving through the Traffic Factory campaigns. It's endless. I mean, it's the same thing as with Traffic Factory. People, there's questions constantly in the Traffic Factory group. How do I do this? Can I do this? The answer is yes. I don't care what the question is. The answer is going to be yes. So, somebody said something about hiding images in plain sight. Well, and from the simple standpoint, you create little images that are stuffed full of data, and make them the same color as something else that's on your page, so that they're not seen by the naked eye, but they're carrying all of the data that you want to be read by Google.
Right.
Or just for juice. Cool. Just to move juice from point A to point B, and you're doing that with the stuffing that you're doing on these images. You're basically just moving juice, and especially if you use URLs.
Well, with this tool, we're going to have multiple trainings, Brian, with Traffic Factory and how to use the tools and this particular tool in itself. So really appreciate you popping on and sharing your insights in terms of how it can work with that. Thank you.
Sure.
Brian Cato, you there? There he is. Brian is our Backlink Factory expert, knows 25 times more than I do about it. Before you say anything, Brian, I just want everybody see my page okay? I just want to make sure everybody can see my page. Yes, okay. So this is where you go. Don't get lost. You just go to the bottom of the page and you'll see the buttons here. Don't worry about all of these things. These are the JVZoo launch prices that we're going to be launching at. Pick your code, whether you're a mastermind, whether you're a member, or whether you're from Facebook and you don't have any of our products, okay? But you're in here from our Facebook. Everybody has a different code, and we do check, especially if somebody uses a mastermind and you're not a mastermind, we'll keep your money and throw you out. But, these are the pricings that we're going to be charging when we go live with this whole program. And you can notice here that the designer suite has its own price. It's going to be an OTO. It's included. Social sharing is going to have its own program. It's included. YouTube is going to have its own program, and we're going to sell that on its own as well. But it's also coming soon, but included in here. And any other thing that we develop or we do will always be included in what you guys get today. So when you actually access the coupons, you're going to notice your jaw will probably drop just like it normally does whenever we do something like this. But Brian, how do you see this working? And once again, it doesn't matter that it's this tool, okay? It's just where and how can we use optimized images in Backlink Factory? Because it seems to me that that doesn't really make any sense or isn't relevant. What are your thoughts on that? Oh, I got the wrong person. I got Brian Wiggins. Where's Brian? Mr. Cato. Okay, apparently he can't pop in. Okay, that's, I'll try, he's on his phone right now. Let's see, Gary, you and I have been chatting a little bit about this. You know, what are some of your thoughts that you have on what you're kind of really heavily involved in this whole process with the Mega Cloud Stacker and PDF. How does optimizing your images, once again, no matter where they're coming from, but optimizing them the right way, what is the value of that within using your ideas through PDF and Mega Cloud Stacker? Gary.
Can we hear me now?
We hear you now.
With the Mega Cloud Stacker using on the PDF side, the fact that your data can't be stripped out of your images, it just keeps everything intact, and you have the ability to put whatever you want into it. You can basically just load the tar of information and data into those images and direct it in the way that you want it.
So no matter where you're doing it, you get your optimized images, right?
Right.
And then you're able to load them internally into a PDF. And from that internally loading them into the PDF, you could put them on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or whatever. And all the data and the metadata that's in the images inside a PDF does not get stripped out. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's exactly what we're trying to say.
Okay.
So want to think of it in a way of doing things in ways that haven't been done before. They're going to be rewarded in doing the extra steps. You know, that's always been the foundation, is the one extra step gets the juice. Well, imagine this is taking 100 extra steps in one step.
Mm-hmm. So you're basically just burying the data into a PDF, and then the PDF is going to carry that no matter where it goes. And we really want people to share that PDF. Brian, you're self-muted according to my system, so you had to try to unmute yourself. But yeah, and we've tested that out, and it works really well. And you know, it's just another way of why imaging and why we're doing what we're doing is extremely important to this whole process.
Well, there's another side to it that we don't really think about sometimes, that sometimes stuffing data, you can get punished for doing it if you're doing the wrong kind of data. That's not true with this image, and it's the kind of information that's going to be rewarded versus punished.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody can make sense of that, you're basically giving
we got Brian
information.
Okay.
Uh-oh, look out.
Cool.
Hey,
Just before
you hear me now?
Hey, I got you now, Brian. Just before you go, you start. Let me explain something to everybody here, okay? On this page, everybody still see my page, right? The basic version is not available, only because it's basic and it's going to be available at some other time. The beta platinum is the standard, you know, $240 up front, $57 a month minus your coupon, which is, when you stick your coupon code in there, you're going to see that it's going to be ridiculously low. Annual, that's annually, so that means every year you do it. These are included For those that want a single pay, it's just one time. And once again, you put your coupon code in there, it's retardedly low. And this is basically if you want monthly only, and you put your coupon code in there and it's ridiculously low. And for those that would like to have the single pay but want to break it down, it's 3 payments of this, put your coupon code in there. And once again, you'll see how ridiculously cheap that we put this in there, simply because we know that we want you guys to get it. We want you guys to use it. We want you to become more productive, more successful, make more money, and we'll make our money when we launch it. We're not really interested in making money at this juncture off of you guys. We want you to use it, and therefore that's why we put those ridiculously low coupon codes in here. But from what everybody sees, here's a question, and all the tools that we're adding to this process. Okay, how many of you, just looking at the prices without a coupon code, how many of you believe that what we've developed in adding the social, adding the YouTube, and there is going to be a Skype group, yes, Brad, and the Skype group, okay, how many of you think that the prices that you see are okay prices and they're prices that you would pay if you had to buy this at regular prices? Everybody think they're fair? Cool. I don't see any no's. Gary, I told you, you priced this shit too cheap.
I can't help myself.
You don't listen to me. Okay?
All righty.
And a couple of people said, I think they're a little bit high. Okay, well, when you go into JV Zoo and all the products that you buy, you have to remember you're giving a good chunk of it away. And we've done our comparison shopping, and we think that these are very good. So in any case, stick the coupon code in there. Tony, dude, listen to me. Look at the page. What does it say right there? They're right there on the page. Right there, sir. Whichever one of these you qualified for, that's the coupon code you stick in the box, okay?
Yeah, Pat, one thing if I can interject on this to keep in mind with the pricing on this is that this includes updates. A lot of other software you're going to get from your JV type software purchases, and I know I've like a lot of marketers, I've spent thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds, even that on various kinds of software. And the problem is that a lot of those bits of software, V2 comes out and they quit supporting V1. So you're having to rebuy all of that software yet again, or they'll do a couple little changes here and there, and they market it as a brand new bit of software.
Yeah, we don't.
Whereas this is, you're buying into something that is going to be supported and maintained.
Right, just like all the rest of our stuff. And
Absolutely.
And Mario's asking a great question. Come Tuesday when these prices double. These prices that you see are not double. These prices are going live on Tuesday. You're getting them for almost half price, right? But you will be able to get an affiliate link, and you all will then be able to sell this product to all the people that you know, or groups of people that you know. And even if you go to Brian, who has a group, and you get him to sell it for you, we'll still pay you on the backside of things, just because you introduced us to a big group of people that will be buying. And that's when basic will become available. Carolyn, the reason it's not available right now is simply because it's a piece of crap. It only does 4 simple fields for WordPress. Okay? But in any JV Zoo launch, what do you have to have? What do you have to get people to buy in the JV Zoo launch? Come on. Don't be shy. Don't be bashful. Low price offer for the front end, a lead magnet. Get them in the door so you can upsell them to the real product, right? However, the base program is still going to do what it's supposed to do, but it's not going to do what we're going to do here. Especially when you consider the fact, and Brian, you just mentioned it, we're going to completely add a complete process for doing YouTube optimization through this whole process. That in itself is a completely new product. okay? When you consider that, when you consider the social and the social stacking that we're going to be building here, I'm going to sell that as an individual product. That's included in this whole thing. And when you consider all of that and the fact that we continually will update all of those, you know, you're kind of right. But tell everybody, regardless of this, how can you use images in Backlink Factory?
So the probably the most obvious thing that you could look at is you could build backlinks to your images, making them more relevant. You could also take and put these in, say, even your GMB. You could take that, build links to that. You could also take any of these particular images. You could open up Backlink Factory, pull in your obviously your GMB data if you are a local business, throw that into the EXIF, into the IMME, through that, just chock full of any of the data that you've got there. You can also stack this stuff. I mean, really the possibilities are endless. The flexibility of these kinds of concepts, if you will, it's really limitless. It's like handing someone a blank piece of paper and saying, do something with that. You could write a story, you could draw a picture, you could fold it into a paper airplane.
Can we embed iframes into images?
Absolutely.
No.
You can do all kinds of stuff with it. If you have Mega, you could stack this thing to the hilt. They're concepts, and these particular kinds of concepts, as you start understanding them a bit more, the possibilities just open up. It becomes so flexible and fluid that you're not confined just to Backlink Factory or Traffic Factory or any of these other bits of software. It's the entire world opens up to you. So it's really incredible.
Right. All right, cool. And you're the guy that knows. White label tool, it just means that when you go and get your subscription, it's you put in your desired name, such as Brian's SEO Factory, blah blah blah. So we're gonna basically white label the process. The website will show up under that subdirectory URL. It's not going to be from just, you know, Image SEO Factory. It'll be Brian's Image SEO Factory or Billy Bob's SEO Factory or whatever. So we want to give you guys recognition when you create it, so that if you want to go resell it as an affiliate, then you kind of like has your own little branding on it. Does that make sense? It's not a really big deal. It's just something little extra that we added in there. Okay, so yeah, Brian, that was I think it's pretty interesting. And one of the things that I know you and I have talked about is there's a lot of add-ons to the Google Sheets, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's a lot of image add-ons actually to the Google Sheets. So when you're into Backlink Factory and you go to add-ons, you can kind of go into that and look for some imagery add-ons that you might be able to bring into the sheets.
Absolutely. And so one of the things in thinking through that process and what that might look like with Backlink Factory, so you take your Backlink Factory, build out your traditional links, be it to your map variants or any of that. Don't just stop there, and don't think that just because you've uploaded the sheet, that's the end all be all. You can go back into that sheet and then start adding more things to it. I mean, by just initially doing a first pass on Backlink Factory, you're laying the foundation for it. You can then go back into Sheets with these add-ons, start adding on additional components to it. I mean, why settle for a stock car when you can have a hot rod, right?
Exactly. Well, thanks a lot. I know that you're really awesome with Backlink Factory. If anybody has Backlink Factory and if you're struggling with it, give Brian a call. For $595, he'll do a training. He only charges $50, but I need to make a profit. So
right.
Yeah. But no, seriously, the people that have used Brian to get a heads up on Backlink Factory really sing his praises. So he's our go-to guy on that. Thanks a lot, Brian. I really appreciate you coming in and sharing with us.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, man. Richard, go ahead and share the bonus. that we're going to give everybody for WordPress.
Okay, and I think you need to make me a presenter again.
So all you have to do is click the button.
Where is it?
It says Richard is now the presenter.
All right, can everybody see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let me see here. There's a button for you to click, like you did last time.
Okay, where did it go?
Hit the screen. I'll try it again.
Yeah, I'm not even seeing myself in the list right now.
You're there.
Yeah.
Go over to the attendees list, or not the attendees, to the staff. All right,
yeah, I'm.
All right, that's me. And now I'm going to make you presenter again.
Okay.
Screen shifted. There you go.
Okay.
Now we see.
All right.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Everybody that's here, I said, if you stay till the end, we're going to give you something different. And so the question remains here is, how many of you guys actually build, use, or optimize or SEO WordPress sites? Give me a one if you guys work on WordPress. Okay. Looks like most everybody that's still here. We have almost 100 people that are here. We had a little over 100 when we started, so we're doing good. Everybody here said they use WordPress. Okay. Now, if you upload an image to the library, right, in WordPress, and that image is optimized, but you upload it to the library in WordPress, does anybody know or have checked what happens to the metadata of the image that you upload to WordPress in the library externally? Anybody have an idea? No idea. Wiped out, that's a good clue. I don't know. Strips, there's a good clue. Stripped, yes. Okay, so even if we were to optimize all of our images the way that we are, and then we load them up into the library, into WordPress, we kind of just shot ourselves in the foot. Would you guys agree with me? For those of you who know what happens, would you agree with me, right? Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. Okay, so this process is the original 2016 plugin that I built. This is the original one. It's still broke. It's so funny. It's still broke. We can't get these assholes to fix it. But what is working is something that will be helpful for you, and that is what Richard's about to show you. You know, we'll give you the plugin. It's going to be able to do what WordPress wants. How many fields in WordPress do we want to optimize for? Anybody know? How many fields? And who can name them? You can all of them. Okay. Actually, nobody's even getting it right. No. Okay. There are 4 fields in the HTML that WordPress optimizes your images for. Open up your WordPress, open up an image, and look at what data it shares with you. Okay. I'm not even going to tell you now. Richard, go ahead. What are we doing with this plugin? And make your screen bigger.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Samuel, you got half it.
Can everybody see that better?
You got, yes, thanks.
Okay. Go ahead, Pat.
So basically, the answer to the question is right on the screen. How many fields do we optimize for WordPress in the library? Come on, it's right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Gainer, you finally got it. Okay? 4. The title, the caption, the alt tag, and the description. Okay? Those 4. So when we optimize the images for those 4 and send it over to the library, now that data remains, because we're sending it directly to the library. We're not loading it up. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes? No? I'm smoking dope? What? I don't do that, but some people accuse me of it. Everybody went to sleep on me, Richard. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick an image, a JPG or a JPEG. Okay, that's it. That's all you can use here. No PNGs, no anything else. And all 4 of these fields are completely spinnable. All right. And you can name it, you can optimize the file size, and you can download it for your regular use, but it's going to show up in your media library. So why don't we show them how this works, Richard?
Okay. Very similar. Very similar to software as a service. You're going to enter your spin tax into the 4 fields. You're going to put a number in here for the number of images that you want to create. You can select an image, from your file, or you can put in a URL. And so I'm going to come down the page. I want to download the zip file. I'm going to reduce the image sizes. So this is going to randomize the image size. This is all social stuff. This is going to go away. It's not functioning right now. And then I'll just hit on this. If you have a large image, this is a single image resizer that we've got right here. But I'm just going to call this webinar 1. I hit submit.
Eric, yeah, take your images that are in your library, okay, and take the URL from that image in your library and do what Richard just said, is put that URL for your image in the top there, and then just do what Richard's doing, and now you've optimized all the images that are in your library. Does that make sense?
And so you can see, I just opened up the zip file, and my spin tax, it was just image, image 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll just click off of that, and then I'm going to go into the media library.
Yep.
And so here are, I think I did 7 images. So I'll click on the, oops.
So everybody take a look at this real quick, because this is kind of really interesting.
So basically what the plugin has done, it's resized the image so that it's unique by, shifting a couple of pixels on the width and height. The alt text is unique, title is unique, caption is unique, and the description is unique. And so what I'm going to do is I'll just kind of scroll through these.
Yeah, look at the right hand, look at over on the right. You see the pixel size, guys, 1994 by 1331. All right, and then keep your eye on the meta EXIF data there. As Richard scrolls, you can see that it's changing. Now this is within your WordPress library. This data is here. This is exactly the same as if you hand put this data with an image and then saved the data. Does that make sense to everybody? Is this cool or what? Okay. I guess nobody likes it. They didn't say anything. Okay, we're not going to give it. We're not going to give it to them. Nobody likes it.
Okay.
Okay. All right, either that or we'll charge them for it. Oh, come on. All right. So anyway, I can't make it any more complicated than this, guys. This is just really that simple. Fill in your field, just spin it. Now, I want to, how much data do you think we might be able to put in the description here? Anybody want to guess? While you guys are guessing, Richard, open up Wikipedia. 300 words. Steve McCormick, a lot. 4,500 words. 9,000 words. 30,000 characters. Very cool. Very cool. All right, now go when you're in Wikipedia. Somebody give me a well-known term. Okay, I like to use Obama, but maybe Trump, maybe plumber, maybe whatever. Wheelbarrows, Paul, is not a well-known term that has a lot of data. Give me do Trump. Nah, yeah, do George Washington. There you go. Let's do George Washington. Adam Schiff. Okay, so within that, you scroll down and you see all that data. That's a lot of content, right? So do a Control A. Now go back over to our plugin. No, do a Control A, get it all.
I did.
How come it doesn't look like it? Okay.
I did. I got it.
All right. Now, first off, what I want you to do is go to Keyword Translation Factory. Okay. Let's do a test. All right. Let's go down to word count. Somewhere towards the bottom there. Paste it in there, and let's see how many words you actually scraped. 170,149. Okay. So the key that I want you to do is go to the bottom of this, which you see privacy policy. The last words are foundation.
Media Wiki.
Foundation powered by Media Wiki. Those are the last words, right? Okay. Let's go back to our plugin. Okay. Let's rerun one image, but in the description, delete what's there. And
Okay, I'm running one.
And paste that 170,000 words in there.
I did.
Okay, so run that. Save it. Don't need to worry about image size.
Yeah.
Hit submit. So here's my question. How much of this 170,000 words is going to show up in the description of your image in WordPress? Will that affect the site speed? No. Look at how smart these guys are. All of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. We fooled them. Look at that, we got them all. They all said, everybody said all. Yes, Eric, spin text can be placed in the description, of course. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of that. Are you guys watching? What's Gary's favorite saying?
It you depends.
Uh-huh. Okay, now look at the bottom of that. Look at that. That is all in the description. All of it. All of it. Everybody got that right. Isn't that awesome? So everybody that got that right, I'm going to give this to you for free. All right. I think we've had enough fun. You guys excited about this? I mean, seriously? What
Everybody missed the pop-up, Patrick.
Oh, what pop-up?
The one that says, hey, now that you got the 170,000 words, do you want to put anything more in here?
Is that
and
all? Is that all?
and so and maybe just to to give everybody some clarification, this is not writing the data inside of the image. It's associating the data with the image within the WordPress database.
Correct.
Right? So you can literally stuff as much data in the description as you want. And it gets associated with the image. But it's not actually writing this data inside of the image.
Oh, Paul, we don't have to. We could copy that same thing over twice, and it will give you 300,000 words, my friend. Okay. So the point is what Richard is saying. It's kind of like a little trick. And for those who paid for the Image Duplicator Pro, GB, you get this for free, just like everybody else, man. Now, I do want to kind of backtrack and go back to the plugin a little bit. I got to share with people what it is that we're doing. Go to the plugin. Are you guys excited about today's presentation? Regardless of whether you bought anything, did everybody learn something today? I mean, seriously, did you learn, and can you take something away from what we shared today for your business and make what it is that you're doing a lot simpler, a lot easier, no matter whose tools that you want to use? Okay, cool. So here's the thing. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. It means a lot, really, to Gary and me and Richard, especially here, because I mean, I can't tell you how much time Richard has put into this. This is really, his baby. If you click over to the XMP Adobe, okay, tab on top. I'm not gonna remove this at the moment, but you can notice if you look down the side, title, author, description, writer, keywords. Have you seen this before? How many of you guys have seen this format before? Give me a 1 if you have, 2 if you haven't. Okay. Keith, seriously, dude? This is exactly the same format as the SAAS. It's exactly the same. Right? This is the SAAS. This is the SEO Image Factory SAAS. Exactly what we saw today. This is where all of that came from 3 years ago when GB and Byron and the rest of these guys bought this program when it worked. Okay? This is it. It doesn't work. If you play with it, you'll see that it doesn't work. But I'm not going to remove it because we're still working on it to make it work. Okay? And so for everybody that's here today, you're going to get we're just giving it to you. We're giving it to you. Okay? When and if, okay, when and if we get the pro version to work, you get that as well because it's part of this product. We're not going to remove it, and I'm not going to eliminate it. Is that cool? Everybody okay with that? The price for this plugin, Jen, is FREE free. Just for being with me today and having fun and hanging out and being here now at the end. Okay? I'm not sure how you're going to get it. I'll have a list of everybody that's here and we'll get it to you because we just decided to do this at the very beginning today and it wasn't planned for. So I will figure out a way that we can all get this. Now there's another tab up there called sharing sites. So what I've done, and I'm gonna take this and put it over in the SAAS as well, but I've gone and pulled, and you can download that list, and it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sharing sites, okay? Hundreds. So what I'd like for you guys to do is help us to help you by picking some of these sites, you know, maybe do 1 or 2 or 3 a week. See if you can log in, see if you can load up a file that you've optimized, take that URL of the file that you optimized from these sharing sites, okay? Paste a link for opt-in to get the info or email. Okay. Send. Subject. Duplicate. Duplicate to support at therankingstore.com. How's that? Will that work? Will that work? Yeah, Keith, remember how old this list might be? When I built this plugin 3 years ago, this is from that list, okay? Isn't GMB removing all the metadata once you upload an image to GMB? It depends on how it's uploaded, okay? If you just load it, yes. If you're loading it within the process that we do with the GMB factory or the GMB poster within Ranking Factory, our tests have shown that it sticks, okay?
Let me add something else if I can, Pat.
Yes, sir.
You know, what you want to do with WordPress is you want to upload your actual working size. You don't want to use, if you use WordPress to resize an image, as soon as it gets resized, it'll strip out all the data.
There you go. So anyway, you know, that's send an email to support@therankingstore.com with the subject line duplicate, and Gary monitors that like, you know, he's a hawk with 7 children in a nest. Nothing gets by Gary. Okay, I don't do it, he does it, so he'll take care of that, and we'll make sure that we get this to you. And you know, Richard is definitely okay with that as well.
Yeah, and if anybody has any issues, just hit me up on Skype at Search Engine Pro or Richard Roy, and happy to jump on a call. I've already done some videos on doing some some WordPress optimization, so increasing memory and file size, stuff like that. If you're not familiar with it, so happy to help anybody out that needs help.
Okay, great. So just for my sake, can you guys give me a 1 if you're going to be picking up the SAAS, any one of the particular versions today, so we could get a clue as to how successful we were in sharing today? Lots and lots and lots of ones, man. That's humbling. Wow. Thank you very much. Cool. Thank you, George. Yes, Kevin, all of it is included, sir. How many of you guys are going to want to promote this as affiliate and send it to all your friends and other groups that you might be in? Give me a 1 if you want to support at therankingstore.com. Terry, then that's perfectly okay, because you know that I'm not a robot, because I do screw up and my typing skills suck. I have arthritis in my hands. Going to have to dive back into my piggy bank. Well, trust me, there's so many ways to use this, guys. So many ways to make money with this. Can I give you a story real quick before we leave? Okay. This is true story. When we first did this 3 years ago, and it's still valid today. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions. One, if you go to any site, I don't care. Pick any site, and you go through their sites, and you right click on their images. Just guess, and I don't know the statistical theory behind this, but you do this way more than I do. How many of those images that you click on don't even have a title or alt tag? How many? I'm gonna share with you how to make a boatload of money. Okay? How many? Right? So yeah, you guys are right. Burned 90%, most of them. Okay? So with this tool, any tool, I don't care. Just think of this as an opportunity to make some money, because this is a case history. I had one lady when we first started this. She bought the tool, and she's in a little podunk little town, and she went to go buy some jewelry, and she went to their website and wanted to buy a piece of jewelry and clicked on the image, and it said JPEG 1. How many times you guys see JPEG 1, JPEG 2, JPEG 33, right? So thanks, Brian. Talk to you later, man. So here's the deal. All you have to do is find somebody that has non-optimized images on their website and throughout their website, not only their homepage. Send them an article from Bright Local or from Google, how important it is to optimize images, and then find an article on what a big pain in the ass it is to optimize images. And you say to them that you'll optimize 10 images a month for them for $10 a piece. Okay? Because you've shown them through validation, article optimization's a pain in the ass. Okay? But they don't know that you can do it in 3 minutes. Literally, you can do it in 3 minutes. And you can sell these things over and over and over again. And once you get in the door for just, 50, 60, 70, $100, right? Now what you can do is you've got trust and you can talk to them about bigger things. She made $8,000 in 2 weeks optimizing images for people because they don't want to do it. But she would never have done it without a tool, any tool that allowed you to do this in such a time frame that you have here, right? Shopify images, Mario, okay? I don't know about what Shopify does to an image. I suggest you create some with the tool and then tell us what happens. That's part of this whole testing process, okay? That's what
and if Shopify, I was going to add, Pat, if Shopify is stripping out metadata, I would use external images. And I was just going to add, a couple of months ago, I met with a company here in Texas that does about $20 million a year in revenue selling pet products. And, so sometimes we think that big agencies and big companies have got their act together. I met with the CEO, the director of marketing, and one of the things that I talked to him about was image optimization. And image optimization was one of the main things that the director of marketing took notes on, because the agency that built their website, where they're doing $20 million a year primarily through partners or through the channel because their online presence is weak. Every single image was a PNG. And so there are a lot of big companies out there with fancy websites where the agency didn't know anything about image optimization, and you know, they just saved every single image as a PNG.
Exactly. Right. So anyway, I am flat out of things to say. You saw the testimonies on the page. Doss, he beat the shit out of this thing. Steve M, you know, from UK, just beat the living crap out of it. Bruno, who came in, who's an SEO expert, you know, he got the needle to move like within 2 weeks just on some images. We have other people that have shown improved, you know, that they've done a little bit of work and their images are ranking. And or helping their site to rank and moving their site up and so forth. So once we start to work with this and get into the Skype group, you know, I don't say we're going to have anything weekly, but we'll certainly try to do something every 2 weeks where we talk about theory, what you guys are doing, what's working, what's not working, how we can make what we're doing better, and, you know, make the SAAS tool even better. But, you know, seriously, there's a few days, you know, left to what we're doing. Monday, I think we're closing this down. So if you have people you want to share it with and you don't want to get paid, share it. If you want to set them up and let them know that it's coming, you know, and get your affiliate link, then, you know, PM me and I'll work with you to get that done. And I'm excited. I'm just really, really excited. So is everybody excited for, you know, today's presentation and months and months and months and months and months worth of work for you guys? You guys excited about it? Payment processing to be hung up for me. Suggestions. How do you change an image from a PNG to a JPEG? Richard, there's plenty of tools.
Yeah, there's online tools. There are online tools. You can do it in Photoshop, but there are some tools that can actually batch process PNGs for you.
Somebody's asking how long is it before YouTube optimization? We are thinking probably less than 30 days. Who and what Skype address do we PM for the affiliate link? Eric, just PM me. I'll have all that set up for us in the next couple of days. Okay. Just PM me. I'll stay here as long as you guys have questions. When you don't have any more questions, we'll leave. But for all of you that were here, bought, thank you very much. And for those that weren't and don't, my condolences. You're not going to get the WordPress plugin. All right, guys, thanks. And I don't see any other questions. All right, Paul, thank you. To get the bonus, to get the bonus. What does that mean? Yes, just email me. Yes, sir. Send that email to us. Yes, sir. All right, man. Thanks a lot, Richard. Appreciate it,
Thank
man. You guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate how much time and effort you put into this. I know it's been hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So we will see you guys later.
Have a great afternoon and evening, depending where you're at.
All righty. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.